done, but I just want to give an overview about what I have learned in Shed Darshanas. Actually, this is a big topic, but I have tried my best to cut it down as much as possible. So if there are any mistakes, please correct me. Let me start. So first, let me tell you what is Shed Darshanas. Just what? A basic introduction. Shed means six, and Darshanas essentially means a vision or realization of life. So these Shed Darshanas are the six schools of orthodox Indian philosophy. So and also these are also called as Vaidika Darshanas, and there are Vaidika Darshanas are the ones which believe that there is a God, but there are also some Avaidika Darshanas, those who don't believe, and they are Buddhism, Jainism, and there's also called Charvaka. They don't believe in God. Those are called Avaidika Darshanas, and these six schools of Indian philosophy are also called as Vaidika Darshanas. And as I told, Darshana means a vision. Darshan, all we call, it's just we visualize something, right? We see something and then we call it as Darshana. मुझे ये दर्शन मिला है, भगवान का दर्शन मिला है, ऐसा दर्शना means a vision, or it is in depth called as realization of life. So in these six schools, what it contains? It contains the meaning of whole world, and from where the world has come, from where we all have born from, what is dukkha, what is sukha, and the realization of that, all these things is in the philosophy of these darshanas. So next, at a glance, what are these six darshanas? They are Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Puramimamsa, and Uttaramimamsa. What it contains? Nyaya deals with the logic. Vaiseshika deals with the concept of Visesha is brought in the Nyaya, but it is the extension or called the add-on to Nyaya. That means
to interrupt dear, लेकिन आपका slide आगे नहीं जा रहा.
अच्छा, okay. Let me share it once again.
Yeah, dear. Now it's okay.
Okay, instead of making it full screen, let me carry on like this only. You are able to see my screen, right, properly?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I made it a little bit zoom.
Nice now.
Okay, so this Vaiseshika is add-on to Nyaya, and in this Vaiseshika, dimension of Visesha is brought forth. And then coming to the Sankhya and Yoga. First thing is Nyaya and Vaisheshika are twin systems, and Sankhya and Yoga are twin systems. Puramimamsa and Uttaramimamsa are also twin systems. So these both are like similar, and Sankhya and Yoga are also similar, like that. So in Sankhya, theory of evolution of universe, how this universe has come, that is discussed in Sankhya, and this Yoga, it accepts all that is written in Sankhya, and it main emphasis on the knowledge of Sankhya Darshana practically realizable. That means all the practical things, what is written in Sankhya, that practicality is brought forth in Yoga. And then Puramimamsa is called the technology of Vedas, and Uttaramimamsa is called as the science of Vedas. So this is at a glance, we have seen what are all these six darshanas. Now coming to the Nyaya, we'll see each one in detail. So coming to the Nyaya first. The author of, or the founder of this Nyaya philosophy is Akshapada Gautama. And this came in between 6th century BC, and its exact dates are not defined, but in between 6th century to 2nd century BC to 2nd century AD. and this mostly deals with the epistemology, which is called the nature of knowledge. And they mainly discuss the means of knowledge, objects of knowledge, right and wrong knowledge, and kinds of argument. All these are mentioned in the Nyaya. As it is firstly said that it deals with the logic. So in Nyaya Shastra, what is given is how is this right knowledge and what is this wrong knowledge. All these things are discussed in the Nyaya Shastra. And there are some authentic texts. They are Nyaya Bhashya, Nyaya Lankara, Nyaya Manjari, Nyaya Bodhini, Nyaya Vartika Tatparya. And according to this Nyaya, the wrong knowledge is the reason of dukkha. And this Nyaya put forth what is the right knowledge. And there is some methodology of knowledge gathering according to this Nyaya. Here we have Pramatha and Prameya. Pramatha is called subject. Prameya is called the object. Subject is the one who cognizes and object is the one which gets the cognition. And when there is this cognition takes place, that is called, that interaction is called Pramiti. And it is also called as Pramana Shastra because it mainly deals with the valid means of knowledge. Pramana is nothing but the validity, something which is valid, which is truthful. And continuation, there are, it accepts for developing a right knowledge, there are 4 pramanas in Nyaya Shastra. They are Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, and Shabda. Pratyaksha means the direct perception, which is caused by the sense organs. Whatever you observe, like for suppose you touch something and you get some knowledge because of that touch. You perceive something, that is called the direct perception. It is called Pratyaksha. And Anumana is the inference, in translation into English. Sometimes we see a smoke over somewhere. For suppose in the mountains you see a smoke, and by that you think that there is a fire over there, that is the reason for fire. That inference is called Anumana. And Upamana is called the comparison. You see something and you don't understand what is that, but similar to that item you have something else. For suppose you have something in red color, tomato is also red color, and there is apple in red color. If we teach something, if we say some kid that tomato is in red color and whatever is in red color is tomato, then he always compares that red color is nothing but tomato. So when you ask something, he gets that comparison. That is called Upamana. And Shabda is the verbal testimony. That means the assertion of a trustworthy person as well as the statements in the Vedas. For suppose there is some trustworthy person, like we always believe in some person or a guru. Whatever is said by the guru is acceptable. That is also a means of right knowledge. And also statements in Vedas are also the right knowledge. That is, so these 4 are the means for getting the right knowledge. And some more points in Nyaya are like it believes that God is a creator, preserver, and destroyer of the universe. And there are 3 eternal entities: Jiva, Ishvara, and Anu. Anu are the atoms. Jiva is the human body, Ishvara is a god, Anu is the atoms. And God creates the universe using these eternal atoms. Therefore, God is efficient cause and not the material cause of the universe. So, God is also called Karma Phaladata, the ordainer of fruits of karma. And according to this Nyaya, aim of life is to attain the liberation from sorrows and miseries by the knowledge of self. So these points which I have written are very clear, like simple English. So I don't think there will be more questions. If there are any questions, please let me know. Yeah, so and next I'll be moving ahead with Vaiseshika. Yeah, Vaiseshika, the founder is Kanada. He is also known as Maharshi Alaukya or Rishi Kashyapa. So these are the other names for Kanada Rishi. And the book, authentic book, is Vaiseshika Sutras of Kanada. It is developed in 2nd century BC. It is also called as Padartha Shastra because it talks about Sapta Padarthas. Padarthas are the they're like 7 categories of existence we will see in the next slide. There it talks about the Sapta Padartha, 7 categories of existence. Yeah, and the Pramanas means the means of right knowledge. How do you get the right knowledge? That is called a Pramana. Like in Nyaya, we have seen there are 4: Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, and Shabda. But in Vaiseshika, they feel that only Pratyaksha and Anumana are only the means of right knowledge. And here the main focus is ontology. Ontology is a nature and categories of existence. Like in Nyaya, it is the knowledge of nature of knowledge, epistemology. This is the major. It focuses. Here it focuses on ontology. There it is epistemology, here it is ontology. And yeah, as I told earlier, Vaiseshika and Nyaya are twin systems of philosophy. Later they merged and known as Nyaya Vaisheshika system. Now let us see the similarities between the Nyaya and Vaiseshika. Sorry. After seeing the similarity, because we have called them twin systems, let me first tell the similarities and then we will go ahead with the what is this Sapta Padarthas. Okay, yeah. These both are the metaphysical theories, and both of them believe in Asatkaryavada. Asatkaryavada means the theory of causation, which states that the effect is different from the cause and not contained in it. That means this causation, effect and cause are like they're comparing with a God. The person who created and the person who is born out of the creation. These both are different. The God is different, Ishvara is different, and the Jiva is different. That is called the Asatkaryavada. That is the belief that Nyaya and Vaisheshika systems follows. Yeah. And it also believes that God is a creator, preserver, and destroyer of the universe, same like Nyaya. God creates Brahma. According to this Vaisheshika, God creates Brahma. Brahma creates the universe using the eternal atoms according to the unseen merits and demerits of the individual. That is like something like karma, according to the previous births and all, based on those merits and demerits of the individual soul, Brahma creates this universe, entire universe, using the eternal atoms. Because of these two similarities, Asatkaryavada and belief in God, these are called the twin systems of philosophies. Now we'll go ahead with the 7 categories of existence, or the called as the Sapta Padarthas. Yeah. Dravya, Guna, Karma, Samanya, Visesha, Samavaya, and Abhava. These are the Sapta Padarthas. So, Dravya means substance. The substance are of 9 types: Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, Prithvi, Kala, Dik, Atma, and Manas. And qualities, Guna qualities, there are 24 in types. Like for this substance only, we have it some qualities like color, taste, and smell. There are 24 in types. It takes a lot of time to explain all of those, so I just given the number 24 here. They inherit dravyas. And then coming to the actions, karma. He mentioned upward action, downward action, expansion, contraction, and random movement. And samanya means generality or a class. Like cows comes into cows, cat, and dog. They belong to the class of animals. Like that, generality. In general, they are called animals. Like generality or the class is called samanya. And visesha is a particularity, uniqueness in each entity. That in this entity called animals, cow is an unique. That is called a particularity. And then samavaya is the inherence. That means the permanent relationship between substance and the qualities, or substance and the motion. And then comes the abhava, that is a non-existence. There are 4 types in abhava: pragabhava, pradvamsha bhava, anyonya bhava, and atyanta bhava. Pragabhava is non-existence before creation. Pragabhava is non-existence before creation. That means before the jiva is born, he is existent or he is non-existent. That is mentioned here. And Pradvamsa Bhava is non-existence after destruction. After death, there is no more person. That talks about, that is mentioned in Pradvamsa Bhava. Anyonya Bhava means non-existence of an entity in another entity. And Atyanta Bhava means absolute non-existence. And for mentioning, for example, in Anyonya Bhava, for suppose when a Jiva merges with Ishvara, then there is no concept of Jiva again. That is mentioned in Anyonya Bhava. Now, Atyanta Bhava is, there is a saying like God is, Shiva is there and he is not there, both things. That is called absolute non-existence, or it also can be explained as the space or the vacuum or the black hole concept. That also can be taken as an example of Atyanta Bhava, absolute non-existence. Yeah, that is all about a Vaiseshika. And then coming to the Sankhya. Sankhya founder is the Kapila Muni, and it is, the dates are exactly known. It is 500 BCE. It is written around 500 BCE. The main contribution of Sankhya Darshana is theory of evolution of the universe, or the metaphysics that we are learning now. The believe in two fundamental or eternal entities, Prakriti and Purusha. And the universe is the result of systematic evolution of Prakriti. Prakriti is nothing but the nature. As this progresses, the evolution is happening. That is what they believe. And Purusha is described as an eternal, infinite, and pure being. There are innumerable Purushas, one in every living being, as we know. And Prakriti is Veda, that means it is lifeless, and it is made up of three gunas, Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva. The relationship between Purusha and Prakriti is described as lame man sitting on a blind man's shoulders and giving him instructions. Both may reach their destination. So, destination here, that means, is the place that we are talking about, the Samadhi state. Earlier, maybe a month ago, I think Vijay sir asked a question: who will gain the Samadhi as per, who will gain the Kaivalya as per Patanjali Yoga Sutras? Since the answer for that will be, and according to my understanding, Sankhya and Yoga are called the twin systems of philosophy. So, as per this statement, the lame man sitting on blind man's shoulders and giving him instructions. This is the relationship between Prakriti and Purusha. That, and they also says that both may reach their destination. Since the destination, according to Patanjali Yoga Sutras, is Kaivalya, the answer for Vijay's question, which was posted on that day, will be both will gain their destination. Both will gain Kaivalya. Vijay sir, please correct me if I am wrong. And you have not told the answer.
Here I am asking you, who will get the Kaivalya? Means you are telling both are the getting Samadhi. Okay, Purusha and Chitta, or Purusha and Chitta, or body. Who will get the Samadhi, or who will get the Kaivalya?
Sir, can I say
Yes,
something,
Saraswati.
sir?
Yes,
Can I say
please.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah, Prakriti exists for liberation of Purusha. That is what just Vijay sir explained. Prakriti is the one which exists for liberation of Purusha. For suppose if there is any imbalance that is happening because of the merging of Purusha and Prakriti, and again this Prakriti itself helps for the liberation of Purusha.
Nobody. Again here, this is a Prakriti liberates itself, not Purusha.
Okay.
इसको थोड़ा corrections करना.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And there are three pramanas, right means of knowledge: Pratyaksha, Anumana, and Shabda. Here there is no Upamana, as in Nyaya. And then coming to, as I said, there are 25 tattvas which make up the universe. Initially, Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha and Prakriti together, they make up Mahat universe. And from this, Ahankara generates, and there are three types of Ahankara: Sattva Ahankara, Rajasa Ahankara, Tamas Ahankara. Oh my God. And in Sattva Ahankara, there is Manas. Yeah, and there are Indriyas of cognition, also called as Jnanendriya, here which I have mentioned here in English or in Sanskrit. They are the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the skin, also called as Chakshu, Stotra, Nasika, Jihva, and the Twag. And there are Karmendriyas or the Indriyas of the action, hands, feet, speech, excretory organs, and organ of regeneration. Pani, Padam, Vak, Payu, Upastha. And there are 5 Tanmatras and 5 Panchamahabhutas. Tanmatras are sound, touch, form, flavor, and smell. In Sanskrit, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, and Gandha. And Panchamahabhutas are ether, air, fire, water, and earth. Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, and Prithvi. Yeah, and here total 25 each. Total 20. And here Manas, Ahankara, Mahat, Prakriti, and Purusha. So these are the 25 tattvas that make up the universe as per Sankhya philosophy. Coming to this next slide, it says that it believes in Satkarya Vada. Nyaya and Vaiseshika believes in Asatkarya Vada. That means God and man are separate, different. But here both are same. Theory which states that effect is contained in cause. Example, pot exists in clay and is not different from it. This theory of causation is also called as Parinama Vada, theory of evolution. Yeah, and does not believe in Ishvara or God, since they believe that Purusha and Prakriti alone can explain the whole universe. According to the Sankhya Darshana, the cause of suffering is aviveka, or the indiscrimination. We mistake ourselves to be body and mind, therefore we suffer. When we realize our true nature as the Purusha, we are liberated. Yeah. Next, let's go to Yoga Darshana. It is written by Maharshi Patanjali. Most of us know all this concept that is written in Maharshi in Yoga Darshana, that is Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Let me just go over now brief. And this is the yoga system that accepts the doctrines of Sankhya, hence they are called as twin philosophies. The main emphasis of the Yoga Darshana is on developing a methodology to attain liberation. It is a methodology. There it is only mentioned like what is this and what is that. Here there is a methodology, that means a practical way to make the knowledge of Sankhya Darshana practically realizable. Thus, this is a guidebook with steps for attaining liberation. Like Sankhya, it accepts 3 pramanas, Pratyaksha, Anumana, and Agama. Yeah, and some more key points. The key point difference between Yoga and Sankhya is that Yoga accepts the concept of Ishvara, whereas Sankhya does not accept the concept of Ishvara. It says that Purusha and Prakriti itself are the reason for the universe. Ishvara of Patanjali is not the creator, preserver, or destroyer of the universe. Like even in Nyaya and Vaiseshika also there is concept of Ishvara, but they believe that God is a creator, preserver, and destroyer. But in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Ishvara is not the creator. And what they say is that Ishvara is a special kind of Purusha who is untouched by kleshas or afflictions and karma vipakas. That is the fruits of action. He is omniscient and not limited by time. Yeah, he is called the Ishvara, the person who is special kind of Purusha who is untouched by the kleshas or karma vipakas. He is omniscient and not limited by time. He is called the Ishvara, and he is considered to be the first teacher of yoga. He is known by the syllable O. It is called as Ashtanga Yoga, or whatever is mentioned in Yoga Darshana, it is called the Ashtanga Yoga or Raj Yoga. And there are moral restraints. They are called the Yama and Niyama observances. And it is the 8 are Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. Samadhi is the goal of yoga. And in the true nature of Samadhi, the true nature of Purusha is revealed and the liberation is attained. So since we all know what is in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, I have not went in deep into it. And next coming to the Purva Mimamsa. Yeah. And the founder of this Purva Mimamsa is a Maharshi, is Rishi Jaimani. The main focus is developing a methodology to interpret complicated Vedic injunctions. This is called the hermeneutics. And considers that Karma Kanda of Vedas to be more important than Jnana Kanda. Like, let me tell you what is this Jnana Kanda and Karma Kanda and all. I'll just tell in the short. Every Upanishad is divided into these Karma Kandas and Jnana Kandas. Wherein, I'm not getting that slide where I have. Anyway, yeah. In Vedas, these are differences like what do we have and all. I think I can show you.
Srinidhi, can I help you?
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind, if you don't.
Important than the Jnana Kanda. And it believes that one may attain heavenly enjoyments by properly following the injunctions of the Vedas, and this in itself is liberation. Yeah. And does not believe in the existence of God or Ishvara. And pramanas are 6 here. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Shabda, Arthapati, and Anuplabdhi. Pratyaksha is direct perception. Anumana is a inference, Upamana is a comparison, Shabda is verbal testimony as we have seen in Nyaya. Let's see what is Arthapati. Arthapati is a postulation. That means it is necessary for supposition of an unperceived fact which alone can explain certain phenomenon. Example, X is alive but not at home. Therefore, we may postulate that he has gone somewhere. And Anuplabdhi means non-perception. Example, like when we perceived that a jar which is usually kept on a table is absent, then its non-existence is cognized. We may think that it is not there. Like that. These are 6 pramanas of Purva Mimamsa. Yeah, it was in short. And then let's go ahead with Uttar Mimamsa. Let me see if I have some more information about Purva Mimamsa. Yeah, that's it. More information of this is not known. Like in brief, I could not make it more brief. Next, we'll come into Uttar Mimamsa, or called Vedanta Darshana. This is called the Jnana Kanda of Vedas. Founder is the Badarayana Vyasa, and it includes Prasthanatraya. Prasthanatraya, it includes the 10 key Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutras of Badarayana. The Vedanta Darshana believes that the true import of Vedic philosophy is to be found in Jnana Kanda or Upanishads. Like Purva Mimamsa, Vedanta also accepts Pratyaksha, 6 pramanas. They are Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Shabda, Arthapati, and Anuplabdhi. And coming into more deeper sense of this Jnana Kanda and Karma Kanda, let me explain more. Like I just explained about Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads, right? So Samhitas are the hymns and mantras. And in earlier days, when there was a concept of ashrama, a person until 24 years of age, when he is in the Brahmacharya ashram, he used to learn Samhitas. And then when he comes to Grihastha ashram, he used to do Brahmanas. He used to be in a Brahmana division. That is the age of 24 to 48. In Brahmana, we have interpretation and significance or application of the mantras. Yeah, and in Vanaprastha, that is 3rd stage of a person, 3rd age. 3rd ashrama is Vanaprastha ashramam. Brahmacharya, Grihastha, and Vanaprastha. Vanaprastha will be usually 48 to 72. That time he will be in Aranyaka. Aranyaka, what is then in esoteric or hidden significance of the elaborate rituals and contain details of upasanas. Upasanas are the mental ways of worshipping and methods of performing symbolic rituals. What happens here in old age, person is not able to do so much of work. So here they learn about the mental ways of worshipping in the age of 48 to 72. And after 72, they will be in the Upanishads. There is Jnana Kanda wherein they learn what all happens. And this is called a sannyasa age. That ashrama is called sannyasa ashrama, wherein whether his spouse passes away, he will be taking the sannyasa ashrama. Yeah, it is again told that sannyasa is another person who will renounce his life and be like a sannyasa. But in olden days, according to this ashrama system, this is also taken, also told that after 72 years, when he enters into sannyasa ashrama, this is things followed by a man. Yeah, where are we? And that I explained this third point more detail. Let's go to fourth point. It focuses on three entities: Jiva, Jagata, and Brahman. Like Puramimamsa, it also accepts 6 Brahmanas. I just told what are all these 6 Brahmanas. And there are 3 sub-schools in Vedanta. We all know this: Advaita, Vishishta Advaita, and Dvaita. Advaita is propounded by Adi Shankara. Vishishta Advaita is Ramanuja. Dvaita is Madhvacharya. And Advaita believes that Brahman is real, Jagat is unreal. It is Maya. And the Jiva and Brahman are not different from each other, according to Advaita. And Visishta Advaita believes that Jagat is the body of the Brahman and Jiva is a part of Brahman. Brahman is nothing but a person, or Brahman is nothing but the universe. Dvaita, it believes in the Jiva, Jagat, and Brahman are separate entities and different from one another. Yeah, and coming to more details of Uttarmimamsa, Advaita believes that Jnana leads to liberation. Visishta Advaita and Dvaita place more emphasis on Bhakti and Karma. Advaita Vedanta believes in Vivarta Vada, the theory that there is an apparent change of cause into effect. Example, when we mistake a rope to be a snake, rope apparently changed into a snake. In reality, there is no change. Advaita Vedanta believes in Maya Vada, the theory that entire universe is an appearance superimposed on Brahman, just like the appearance of snake superimposed on snake. And because of Ajnana, or the ignorance, Jiva fails to realize its true nature as pure consciousness identical with the Brahman. When knowledge is attained by the grace of Guru and the scriptures, Jiva is liberated. And this Vedanta Darshana speaks about 3 levels of truth. They are Pratibhasika Satyam, which is the lowest level of reality; Vyavaharika Satyam, which is the transactional reality; and Paramarthika Satyam, which is a supreme reality. The lowest level of reality is the experience in dreams and the wrong cognition. Example, that seeing a rope as a snake. It's like a dream only, or wrong way of understanding that rope as a snake. That is the Pratibhasika Satyam. Transactional reality is in the universe, our lives and our relations with different people all fall into this category. It is also called as empirical reality. Unlike Pratibhasika system, this reality has persistence and continuity. This, as the name itself implies, a transactional reality. We see something and we accept it, or when we listen to it, when we accept it. That is called a transactional. Not just without knowing the reality, we don't accept it as a truth. That is called the Vyavaharika. And Paramarthika means the supreme reality. When Ajnana is dispelled and knowledge is obtained, the Jiva becomes aware of this reality. It is called transcendental reality. Yeah. And this Puramimamsa and Uttarmimamsa are called the twin systems because both of them accepts the 6 Brahmanas like this. Nyaya and Vaisheshika are treated as one. Sankhya and Yoga is treated as one. Uttarmimamsa and Purvamimamsa taken as one. Like this, we have 6 orthodox philosophies, 6 systems of Indian orthodox philosophies.